Senator Padilla joins us now. Senator, good morning. It's still a year later shocking to watch that footage all over again. And I'm curious, as you do reflect not just on that moment, but on the year since that has seen the expansion of these detention centers across the country, with reporting showing us the abhorrent conditions, particularly for children and for women. We have the shooting deaths of Alex Preddy and Renee Good in the streets of Minneapolis, and on and on and on. In some ways, it feels like things actually have gotten worse since that happened to you a year ago.
Right. No, well, first of all, thank you for having me, particularly on this day. And you're absolutely right. Because of what continues to happen, the continued cruelty of this administration, we absolutely want to use this 1 year later mark to make sure that we continue to put a spotlight on the abuses of this administration, their harmful policies. What started a year ago after that incident, unfortunately, I was proven right. The 2 points coming after that press conference that I tried to make was, one, if this is how they'll treat a senator with the audacity to try to ask a question, imagine what's happening when the cameras aren't there in corners across the country during Trump's immigration enforcement mass deportation campaign. Number two, this was Los Angeles. And Los Angeles was simply the test case. I predicted that they were laying the groundwork to come into cities across the country. And that's exactly what's happened, from Washington, D.C. to Chicago to Portland, Minneapolis, consequentially, of course, many others. But things have shifted in the last year. Some good news and some bad news. The good news is Secretary Noem is gone, right? Bovino is gone. Pam Bondi, gone. We're still here, and we're still fighting. But their tactics have changed. You don't see the visuals on the nightly news or social media of cruelty and violence in the streets, but you're seeing maybe even more cruel them using the process, right? Detention facilities that are not open to the press for oversight and accountability. And we're hearing about the conditions, maggots and rotten food that's being served to detainees, right? They're not convicted criminals, they're detainees. Lack of clean drinking water, lack of access to medical code, basic human standards that we're required to provide in facilities like this. And then, of course, the delays in people's paperwork. We have DACA renewals that are taking months and months and months longer than they used to. In the meantime, people's DACA status is expiring, and they are more vulnerable to deportation. They're no longer able to work while their applications are in limbo. They're using the system to continue to make life difficult for immigrants, the vast majority who are not the dangerous, violent criminals they say that we're going to focus on.
Yeah, we're going to have a live report on that DACA situation just ahead here this morning. Senator, you're right to highlight the conditions in these detention facilities still deplorable, according to reports. But we've heard from the administration that they don't want to have another Minneapolis. That said, deportation tactics still ramping up. We have heard Tom Homan suggest that New York City in some way will be next. And so I want to get your reaction to the new Secretary of Homeland Security, your former colleague in the Senate, Markwayne Mullin, suggesting that they will crack down on sanctuary cities by stripping some of those cities' airports of like DHS and customs officials, which therefore could, they want to punish those cities. There could be widespread economic impact throughout the country.
Yeah, look, it's a continuation of the obsession this administration has against immigrants, period, right? For all their talk about targeting the worst of the worst, the vast majority of people that have been arrested, have been detained, this is ICE's own data, by the way, do not have the violent criminal convictions on their record. They don't have no criminal convictions on their record. Their only crime in the eyes of the administration is their presence in this country. But a lot of them work in essential jobs, key to essential industries for the American economy. So it's completely backwards thinking. It's harmful not just to individuals, families, and communities, but to our own nation's interest. And so that's what we're fighting. And sadly, the administration is fighting. We could have had this reform conversation, not just about modernizing our immigration system as a whole, but just the way in which immigration enforcement is happening, right? The requirement for a signed judicial warrant, for example, access to counsel, for example. ICE agents having to identify themselves and not hide behind masks coming out of unmarked cars. Instead of engaging with that, the Republican Party, led by Trump, has wanted to go this partisan-only budget route, and they have front-loaded ICE and CBP for 3 years of funding so they don't have to negotiate policy with Democrats.
It's also such a mystery what is happening inside these detention centers. You mentioned the conditions, Senator. I'm just wondering the ICE process of apprehending someone and detaining them and what's happening inside the detention centers. Is any of it legal? And secondly, what else are you hearing about additional punitive measures toward migrants, for example, an effort to debank them?
Right. So there's, again, at every turn, this administration will try to make life
At every turn.
As miserable as possible and to try to encourage people to self-deport. That is what we're up against. Thank God for the resilience of so many people, so many communities across the country. In the detention facilities, by the way, it's not just what we're hearing and what we think is happening there. For those of us who have been successful on occasion to enter these facilities to see with our own eyes, and in rare cases, actually be able to speak with detainees to hear directly from them. That's what's happening. I've heard and seen the spoiled food that's being served. I've seen the lack of clean water. I've heard the stories of the medical care that's not being given. And it's not just, oh, I have a headache, I need, Tylenol or Advil or something. These are people with chronic conditions, many with injuries sustained while they were being apprehended in a courtroom. Right? They were trying to do it the proper way, and that's where ICE took advantage of the opportunity to take somebody into detention physically, I would say violently, and then they're being denied medical care. California, New Jersey, Texas, and everywhere in between. And so people are rightfully worked up, protesting to call attention to it, and the administration is trying to hide behind new policies to even keep members of Congress from conducting our duty of oversight. But the courts, I think, will ultimately prevail. But in the meantime, yeah, these conditions continue.
Senator Donnie Deutsch, immigration always seems to be front and center for the Republicans. We're a few months from the midterms. The only place Trump gets positive marks on immigration at this point is on actually closing the border. And how do you keep the discussion not about that he's closed the border and everybody's very behind that versus what's going on, he's getting the wrong kind of people? Because we're not seeing those videos anymore in the news. So you don't have that same trough to kind of go at from a messaging point of view.
Yeah, look, I've always sort of broken down the immigration conversation to sort of three buckets. Number one, yes, what's the situation at the southern border? And we can agree or disagree about how to go about it, but the fact of the matter is numbers are way down of people coming to the border. But that was always the pretext for why Republicans have not wanted to move forward on the DREAM Act, for example, or provide relief for many farm workers that our nation depends on that happen to be undocumented, for example. It was always about first secure the border, first secure the border. Well, if that's done, now what are you waiting for? Our immigration system as a whole does need modernization. People wanting to come to the United States lawfully, whether it's work visas, student visas, or anything else, we got to bring those into modern times for the sake of our economic global competitiveness. And we cannot forget the millions of people who have been long-term residents of the United States. They've been living here, raising families here, paying taxes here, contributing to the health of our nation. They deserve better than to live in the shadows, than to live in the fear or terror that this administration has brought upon them.
Democratic Senator Alex Padilla of California, thank you. We'll continue to follow this conversation with you. And